You too, Zoju. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Being safe and all that good stuff. We got some common writer for you for today. Other than that video, we'll be linking in the description down below. So check out the original content and hit the like button if you enjoy it.
Rider franchise is jam-packed with insanely powerful characters. Some have super strength or super speed, while others can manipulate reality itself. This video is going to rank the most powerful, godlike riders of all time. So without any delay, let's jump right in.
Do this thing. Damn.
Starting off our list is Kamen Rider Odin, the 13th rider from Kamen Rider Ryuki. Odin represented Shiro Kanzaki within the Rider War. Shiro was the main antagonist of the series, and the creator of the Rider War and the Advent cards. He turned people into puppets that hinged into Odin. Odin utilized Gold Phoenix for his abilities, and he had extremely high base stats. He has the ability to manipulate time, and if that didn't make him powerful already, he also has extremely effective cards that allow him to summon a shield and a sword. Some of his most powerful techniques don't even require Advent cards. For example, his melee strikes are devastating, and he can even teleport to avoid danger or for surprise attacks. He can also launch a volley of golden feathers at his opponent, inflicting massive damage. Odin used a brown and gold color scheme with a feathery aesthetic, and Shiro was played by Kanzaburo Kikuchi, who also appeared in Kamen Rider Kabuto and Ultraman Max. Odin was a persistent, overbearing threat within the series, but he couldn't beat the attacks and equipment of our next rider on the list.
Oh, I seen this outfit before.
Next up at number 19 is Kamen Rider Zane from Outsiders. Zane was an AI that used the Yuto Sakurai from an alternate universe as the host for the Kamen Rider Zane form. Kamen Rider Zane used the Zane cards, which allowed him to summon the weapons of various riders, plus use their devastating finishing moves. The cards were shredded upon use, but this functionality made him a versatile rider with many powerful options available to him in combat. Zane's appearance and equipment were based on elements from previous rider seasons. His armor mold was based on the armor of 01 and Thouser, but with a unique helmet, chest piece, and cape. His Zane cards were based on the cards from Blade and Decade. Zane was absurdly powerful, and it was a cool idea to bring back Yuto, formerly Zeronos, to be its first user. Zane was definitely powerful, but not quite as well known as our number 18 rider on the list.
Oh, okay. I checked out this fit before. It was fire. I remember this one, but I really don't know that much about this form. Let's see about it.
Next up is Kamen Rider Cronus, a form that was originally awarded.
Hey, that's a crispy name right there. I like that. Crispy name? What the fuck am I saying? What do you mean crispy name? You know what? Let's just skip by it.
As a prize in a game called Kamen Rider Chronicle, created by Gim Corp. The main user for Cronus was Masamune Dan, former CEO of Gim Corp and father of Kuroto Dan, also known as Kamen Rider Gim. Masamune's DNA absorbed the Bugster virus, granting him unique abilities unavailable to other riders. He's also immune to most negative consequences related to the Bugster virus. He can manipulate time itself, oftentimes freezing his adversaries and attacking while they're defenseless. He can manipulate the day and night cycle as well, and even teleport to escape danger or give himself a better position for attacking. Cronus has access to the Gamadeus Cronus form, where he retains all other abilities but drastically increases his stats. This also gives him access to special Bugster attacks. Masamune was played by Hiroyuki Takami, a musician that performed his own theme song, as well as Gim's theme. Cronus looked really cool, and his time manipulation techniques proved difficult to overcome, but he's edged out slightly by the duo of rider users coming in at number 17. Next up is Kamen Rider Double, the alter ego of Shotaro and Philip that can swap his left and right sides for a large variety of forms and powers. Through swapping different Gaia memory sticks, he can gain access to Metal Shaft, Trigger Magnum, and of course the Prism Buckler, a device that allows Double to reach his ultra-powerful Cyclone Joker Extreme form. The users of
Ooh, okay, so I did see this one too. I thought this was pretty unique for a form because the color scheme. I think the color scheme is pretty unique. But knowing that he can just swap, like, can he during fights? Is that what he's saying? If he can swap during fights, that's pretty crazy as well. I think I've seen him do it actually.
Kamen Rider Double also had exceptional skills in their own right. Shotaro was a skilled detective who was good at problem solving, and Philip is a researcher with access to the Gaia library, making him basically a walking supercomputer. Double has a large number of finishers available to him, and his different forms offer him a ton of versatility. Whatever the situation, he's ready for it. Two heads are better than one, and these two users can...
Buddy just had a whip as an arm. I didn't even see that form yet. That's fire. I like that. I like that. I like that a lot. That's pretty fun.
Communicate in real time, devising strategies at breakneck speed. Double had an awesome looking rider suit, with his base form featuring one side that's green and gold, while the other side was black and purple. He also has layered armor plating and a W on his helmet. Plus, he brought back the classic rider scarf. Shotaro was played by Rin Kiriyama, and Philip was played by Masaki Suda, two legendary Toku actors. Kamen Rider Double had tons of excellent forms, with a lot of tools at his disposal, but he wasn't as fast as our next rider.
Oh, yeah.
Soji Tendo was a chef that hinged into the lightning-fast Kamen Rider Kabuto. When it comes to fighting ability, Kabuto was an insanely powerful rider due to his clock-up function. He's also really clever and skilled at infiltration and spying.
I expect him to be at number 16. That's going to be a little bit higher.
Kabuto also had a high level of fighting skills, and he can even anticipate enemy attacks. Kabuto is definitely someone that you don't want to mess with. This arsenal of abilities makes him almost unstoppable. Kabuto uses a multifunctional device called the Kabuto Kunai Gun. He also has multiple forms, including his hyper form that enhances his clock up to absurd levels, and he also receives the hyper kick finisher. As far as Kabuto's look, he has a black undersuit with silver and red armor and blue eyes. Nothing over the top, but stylish nonetheless.
It is. I fucking love it.
Soji was played by Hiro Mizushima, and his swagger matched well with Kabuto's raw power. Kabuto was insanely powerful, but he didn't have a cool time traveling train like our next rider. Ryotaro Nogami was initially a huge coward, but when he's possessed by the Imagines, their personalities are reflected by him and he becomes Kamen Rider Deno. Depending on which Imagine possesses him, he takes on different forms with different weapons.
Okay, so his personality. Okay, so that's why I was so confused when we did see him. When I was watching those other Kamen Rider videos and we did see him, and he was like dropping his weapon and stuff. I was hella confused about what's going on, but his personality changes for his suit is okay.
Weapons and abilities. He has partial immunity to time bending effects. Although Ryotaro is weak on his own, the Imagines make him strong in terms of power. His different forms give him a ton of versatility in combat, and the Denliner provides options within the show's story. Ryotaro is played by Takeru Sato, and Deno's time-traveling ability and interaction with the Imagines landed him his spot right here, but he's edged out slightly by our number 14 rider on the list.
Okay.
Our
I've
next
never
godlike
seen
Kamen
this
Rider
suit.
is Woz from Gyo. Not only does he have multiple forms, but he can use the forms of riders from the future, making him absurdly
What?
powerful.
Hold the fuck up. Hold up. You say you get the forms from the writers in the future? What? And I never seen this before? I literally never seen this one before. After all the videos I've seen, I never seen this Kamen Rider before. Crazy word.
Woz is a member of Kortser, and he uses his skills of deception to place himself in advantageous positions within the story. But when open conflict arrives, he's more than capable of getting the job done. He uses the Zekon des Spear, a polearm weapon that can transform into different modes to match the situation. Woz is capable of time travel. He also has a long list of powerful abilities, like super strength, flying, energy projectiles, superhuman speed, and reflexes. Plus, he's practically a library when it comes to Kamen Rider timelines of the past and future. Woz was played by Keisuke Watanabe, and this insanely powerful rider definitely earned his place on the list. As
Mind you, my bad for stopping, but like, I seen him without his suit multiple times though. Like, I do remember seeing him without his suit, but I never seen him with his suit on. And that's a fire suit, by the way. I'm liking the green, the black, and the silver. I really like that. And even the blue on there is really nice for the first time seeing it.
powerful as he is, he's edged out slightly by the infinite power scaling of our number 13 entry.
Okay. Oh, I know him.
Next up is Shoichi Sugami, who becomes Kamen Rider Agito, and due to the seed of Agito, he has the potential to scale indefinitely, giving him limitless power. Agito possesses different forms with ever-increasing levels of power, as we see him evolve over the course of the series. He uses unique weapons as well, including the Flame Saber, Storm Halberd, and Shining Caliber. Agito has precognition and can sense danger before it can harm him or others. In theory, Agito should be able to match up with anybody due to the nature of his power scaling. His different forms looked great, especially Burning and Shining form. Shoichi was played by Toshiki Kashu, and the nature of his powers make him very hard to compete with, much like the next rider on our list.
I do agree with what he said. His forms that he has are fire, by the way. I do agree.
Toma Kamiyama is a novelist that transforms into Kamen Rider Saber. He fights creatures from Wonderworld, an alternate reality linked to old books. Toma fittingly uses attacks with flames and embers, and he's known as the Flame Swordsman. He uses a variety of weapons, the most famous of which is called the Kenkin Reka, but he gains a lot of new ones when accessing different forms. He's exceptionally effective with these weapons in combat, and he has a lot of overpowered abilities to give him an edge. These include the ability to see things before they happen, and conjure things out of thin air. His armor can also adapt to the attacks used against him, making him extremely durable. When he activates his Cross Saber form, he can manipulate reality. He's also exceptional at assessing situations and making appropriate tactical decisions.
Bro, this is a full form.
Toma was played by Shuichiro Naito, and Saber's powerful attacks and abilities land him a spot on our list, but he's not quite as cool as the narcissistic genius that comes in at number 11. Coming in at number 11 is Kuroto Dan, or Kamen Rider Gim, the CEO of Gim Corp. Gim was featured on X-Aid, and throughout the show he displayed a number of absurdly powerful abilities that make him a formidable adversary. He had several different types of temporary invincibility, plus cloning and the power to reduce a bugster's level and restrict their abilities. He's capable of compressing himself down into pure data, where he can travel through cyberspace. He can also teleport to avoid damage or reposition himself. Kuroto himself is also a genius that can easily anticipate outcomes and manipulate others at will. He also has many different forms that further increase his power. Kuroto Dan was played by Tetsuya Iwanaga, a real-life genius himself. Kamen Rider Game was smart, resourceful, and powerful, but not as evil as our next entry. Next is Kamen Rider Evil, whose user is Evoluto, the main villain of Build. Convinced that humanity is tainted and his civilization is superior, Evoluto's aim was to destroy the planet and create a new one. Evol had extraordinary power, including the ability to take control of others. Plus he had teleportation, shape-shifting, and he could reshape matter in the universe. Evol also develops into other stages that give him ridiculous amounts of strength. Although his suit design looks fantastic in any form, I especially like the black hole form, which has a black and white style with light magenta accents that give it a really dynamic appearance.
I fucking agree.
The roles of Soichi and Evoluto were played by Tetsuo Kanao and Yasuyuki Meikawa, respectively. Tetsuo Kanao had previously starred in Kamen Rider Black. Evoluto was an intense and powerful antagonist who was one of the greatest threats to humanity in the history of Kamen Rider, but he wasn't gorgeous like our next writer.
Okay. Alright, buddy. The fit is fitting. The fit is fitting. The fit is fitting, buddy. Crazy work. Okay, and what number are we on? Alas, I don't know what number we're on. We'll find out.
Next up is Kaguya, the gorgeous, ultra-powerful rider known as Legend from Gotchard. This rider is alternatively known as the Reiwa-era Decade, and he can access the forms of previous riders from the franchise. He can even activate their final forms and use them for himself. Legend uses the Legend Ride Magnum, and when he activates the legendary Legend form, he gains the Legend Kamen Riser. His suit design is really similar to Decade's, but with a shiny gold color scheme and the addition of jewels emblazoned onto his armor. Kaguya is played by Seichiro Nagata, and Legend was a modern and powerful homage to Decade. He definitely lives up to the name Legend, but our next rider is the definition of legendary within the franchise.
Okay. Ooh, that's a bop.
Next is Kotaro Minami, a man who henchened into Kamen Rider Black and Kamen Rider Black RX. Kotaro transformed into Black RX after being sent into space by the Crisis Empire and acquiring new powers from the sun's radiation. At this point in time, Kotaro was a well-known figure in the franchise, but the RX form would take his powers to the next level. He gained access to a red car called Rideron, as well as some additional abilities like superhuman speed and strength, plus 2 other forms. He also wields a weapon called the Revolcane. His powers were tied to the sun, and because of this, he effectively had an infinite source of power and endurance. Kotaro was played by Tetsuo Kurata, and when the show debuted, the fandom had never seen anything on this level before. He was an absolute beast within the Showa era, but next we look at a beast of the Reiwa era. Next is an insanely powerful rider featured in Kamen Rider Outsiders. This is Kamen Rider 03. Zero 03 is actually the representation of 2 satellite supercomputers called There and Arc that combine together. Due to this rider's ability to analyze and calculate at an infinitely higher level than a human, Zero 03 is capable of countering nearly every attack that an opponent could attempt. He's so efficient at learning that he almost has precognition, being able to anticipate his opponent's moves before they can strike. He can also copy abilities of everyone else, making him godlike in terms of adaptability.
Okay, I have seen
his suit and name are somewhat of a callback to Kamen Rider V3. Zero 03 is voiced by 2 actors. One of them is Noah Tsurashime, who played Is and As in Kamen Rider 01. The second is Sho Hayami, who voiced Arc, also in 01. Kamen Rider 03 was the technological culmination of Kamen Rider, but some riders rely more on magical sources of power for their might, such is the case with our number 6 entry. Next, we look at Yusuke Godai, better known as Kamen Rider Kuga. Kamen Rider made a comeback with Kuga after an absence of 11 years from television, ushering in the Heisei era. Yusuke discovers an ancient artifact that enables him to transform into Kuga and fight the Gurongi, or unidentified life forms. Beginning with white armor, Kuga progresses through several stages, including the black, red, and gold rider form that's become legendary throughout the years. He would use different forms with different color palettes that provided him with powerful weapons. He also, of course, has his awesome looking ultimate form that gives him enough power to destroy an entire planet.
Wait, what? Alright, did not know that.
Joe Odagiri portrayed Yusuke, and Kuga has gained so much fame over the years that his inclusion on this list is an absolute no-brainer. He's edged out only slightly by our next rider's sheer invincibility. Imu Hojo, better known as Kamen Rider Ex-Aid, is a hardcore gamer and a doctor at Seto University Hospital. Just like in an RPG, Kamen Rider Ex-Aid levels up, and he has a variety of interesting and unique forms that give him an edge in battle. He begins with a form that's small in stature and resembles a toy. As he levels up, he becomes more and more powerful until he reaches the absurdly powerful Muteki gamer form, also known as Hyper Muteki Ex-Aid. This form gives him invincibility to damage, along with instantaneous movement. He can also continue using other gashats to add to his versatility even further. Hiroki Ijima played Imu, and Ex-Aid's invincibility was insanely overpowered. The only thing that could have made him any stronger was if he had the ability to spawn previous riders from the franchise, like the next rider we're gonna look at.
Okay, I know this one, yeah.
Next up is a rider who's known as the Destroyer of Worlds, Tsukasa Kadoya, better known as Kamen Rider Decade. Decade travels to the universes of other riders from the Heisei era, as they merge into one. He's also famous for using rider cards that give him the ability to henshin into the other riders from the Heisei era, making him extremely versatile and one of the most powerful riders in the history of the franchise.
Decade.
I did not know that.
Decade also uses a weapon called the Ride Booker, and he was able to transform riders into unique weapons via his final form Ride. If that wasn't enough, he was also capable of switching to even more powerful forms like Complete Form and the godlike 21 form. Tsukasa was played by Masahiro Inoue, an extremely talented toku actor who's also famous for playing Jinga in the Gado franchise. Kamen Rider Decade was an explorer of the Riderverse with a huge collection of abilities. It took a god of fruit in order to top him on this list.
Oh shit, I know this one. He's really
Kota
strong.
Kazuraba was a dancer that became Kamen Rider Gaim, also known as Armored Rider Gaim. Over the course of this show, Kota would grow to absolutely absurd levels of power. Among his many abilities are telepathy, near invincibility, and manipulation of both time and reality.
Damn. Did not know that. That's crazy to think about. But like their powers are literally fruits, and he's got that strong. That is so crazy. But they do got some good fits in that bit.
The Muso Saber that was capable of being used as a gun. Gaim of course used several forms, culminating in the godlike Kiwami arms form. This form lets him use the arms weapons from his previous forms. After Kota ate the golden fruit, he became effectively immortal, and if he ever does die, he can be revived infinitely every time a lock seed is used in the universe. Kota was played by Gaku Sano, and Gaim is easily one of the most well-known and powerful godlike riders in history. But he's not quite as high as our next rider that can control history itself.
That's my favorite rider. That's my favorite rider. I'm upset he's not the first one, but she second is alright with me too. My favorite rider. Let's go. I'm locked
Ace
in.
is a competitor in the Desire Grand Prix, where he transforms into Geats. Throughout the show, we find out that he's actually the reincarnation of a man who previously won the competition numerous times and molded the world according to his vision of perfection. Even before gaining immense power, Ace is already equipped to win at everything he does due to his intelligence and resourcefulness. Although Geats is pretty strong overall, his power reaches absurd levels when he activates his Geats 9 form. This form gives him the power to control reality itself, essentially making it possible to shape the universe around him with a simple thought. Hideyoshi Khan played the role of Ace, and Geats' ability
He forgot about the fire fits. He should say one of the riders with the most fire fits out there. I'm just saying, like, the fits were hitting.
to will his desires into reality make him one of the strongest riders in history, but not the strongest. That distinction goes to a ruthless tyrant from the future.
Oh.
The strongest Kamen Rider in history is Sogo Tokiwa of the year 2068, better known as Oma Jio. As the main antagonist of Jio, this demon king ruled the future with an iron fist. This led to the creation of a resistance that would travel back in time to confront him while he was still young and prevent his rise to king, while others would work to ensure his rule. In addition to his ability to manipulate time itself as well as reality, he also had access to the ride watches of all other riders, giving him effectively infinite options in combat. He also has super speed and strength, and he can even teleport.
That's interesting.
So Okuno played young Sogo, and Omajio was voiced by Rikiya Koyama, who also appeared in Black RX and the Japanese dub of Kamen Rider Dragon Knight. If other riders are a nuclear bomb, then Omajio is the equivalent of the sun exploding. He is completely overpowered and unmatched, making him our #1 godlike rider of all time. But I want to know who you think is the most godlike Kamen Rider of all time. Let me know in the comments. If you're new here, be sure to henshin into a subscriber by hitting the subscribe button. Join my Discord server to hang out with me and other cool Toku fans, link in the description, and as always, if you enjoyed this video, it would mean a ton if you smack the out of that like button. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.
Love the video. Video will be linked in the description down below. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the sub, and I'll see you on the next one. God bless y'all. Be safe. Peace out.